Hello everyone, this is I Keflexx and welcome to a quick video on Frostnite. This is going to be a kind of in-depth guide. I mean, I was thinking to make this like a beginner's guide, but I mean, you know me, I have to go in-depth whenever I say anything. The idea was to make something only like 3 or 4 minutes. We ended up with more than 20 minutes. Like, I do not know how I do this to myself. But I will. Second thing. This is a post commentary. I have to note this because yeah, the footage got screwed up. The content you're seeing right now, I was actually saying the same things as I will say in a moment, but hey, I did an oopsie. I mean, I think we all make mistakes from time to time. So first up, what is most important with Frostnite is your base. A good designed base is, I think, the biggest strength of every single defense. Now, I think I'm highlighting everything well enough, with metal being the most crucial parts, brick being strong parts, and wood being the parts you can, you know, leave out if you are running out of mats. Of course, build everything out of metal if you can. Now, the design, if you look at this, we currently have the metal, same thing as I retrieved the data. It goes up 2 tiles because it's the burner. You also see that you can quickly navigate by running up the ramps. You'll see me do that a few times a bit later. Now, in the inner parts of the ramps, you can actually put wall darts as well as floor launchers. As you can see right now, with the patrol ward being the representative of the burner, I leave windows in all 4 directions, allowing you to safely add blue glow. In addition, because we have a window, we can also throw some wall lights. The biggest strength of wall lights being the fact that you can stun even smashers, which will allow your floor launcher to send him back flying. Now, of course, the main idea is that you craft traps, but I mean, I'm just using the things I have on me as more of a guide than anything else. As you can see, I can just quickly navigate up and down, allowing for me to quickly fix areas if I have to. Now, this design works for the first few waves. However, at one point you're going to need more defenses. Now, if a husk comes, he has to zigzag through everything, which will allow you to get a little bit more time. Now, we use these dividers to stall for more time, right? Combining that with launchers, we can actually send the husks back flying. Now, the main idea behind that is to stall for time. At one point you're going to have so many husks and the threat of propane is so high, you do not want to ignite them. Now, here the strength of these wall launchers and these dividers are to make the husks trigger. Now see, the husks have to walk this little bit, which gives the launcher enough time to trigger and shoot. Why you do not do it like that, or with the inverted triangle, is because of propane and smashers. At one point you're going to have so many husks inside your base that they're going to block each other. So now I'm representing myself as a husk. Let's say that there's another husk coming, like right now. I'm blocking the way, which will cause a propane husk to throw his can onto the launcher, which will break your base and will cause a chain reaction of all propane to detonate everything, which is something we totally want to avoid. So we keep these small dividers, which are more than effective enough. Now, with the combination of traps, using wooden floor spikes together with the launcher and using freeze traps together with wall darts, we can make this potential death trap, you know. Right now I'm just setting something up for the wall darts, just to give you a little bit more of a visual idea. You see, wall darts do physical damage, and since most husks and most smashers and propane husks are indeed physical, it's actually very good to use a lot of physical damaging traps, hence we're using gas and wall darts most of the times. In addition, wall darts trigger up to 3 tiles and they reach up to 6 tiles, which is what we just saw. More on that later on the base itself. Now here you go, I throw up gas. I accidentally throw up ceiling electrics. I do not recommend using ceiling electrics because the resources you need for those is not recommended because they do little to no damage. Now here you go, you can see that wall lights do trigger through ramps, which is something, for instance, wall dynamos and wall launchers cannot do, which again shows that wall lights can actually save you against a smasher wave. Now, you can use this again up until, like, let's say wave 15, you know, you have a lot of gas, you have some wall darts, you have, you know, some slow spikes, some freeze traps, you have everything set up. Well, you have to expand eventually. Now, look at this. This is the corner piece, and this is the next corner piece, which means that the next corner piece is going to be there. Keep that in mind, because that's how this design works. You keep on leaving one gap open. Here I just make a small mistake, and I realize that about this point, where I'm like, oh, wait a second. So again, that's the other corner piece, and I'm about to place the final corner piece. So by alternating between walls and gaps, you can actually give the husks enough leeway to again navigate through here in peace, because the husks navigate through here in you know, without being disturbed. It's a lot more powerful, right? Here we go. Here we can see the wall darts. They trigger up to 3 tiles and they shoot up to 6 tiles, which is this tile, which means that this entire stroke becomes a potential death zone for any husk. Of course, remind that if you put wall darts everywhere, well, you know, there's always going to be at least one wall dart that's being triggered. Now, what I was saying with the zigzag thing. Now again, I'll be throwing up some wall launchers, some wall darts, slow spikes, everything. Again, with the main intention of slowing down husks. The only husks that really truly should make it to your base are smashers. And even then, I've had smashers die to the traps, like up to wave 21, wave 22, like well above level 160, 165-ish. So again, a good, strong design can pretty much save you 24/7, right? As you can see, the husks, they have pretty much always a direct line of sight. Now, if you look at gas traps, they cost nuts and bolts, herbs, and powder, and bacon. Herbs and bacon are not going to be a problem, as we will see later up in the defense. Freeze traps cost rough ore, quartz, and powder. Wall darts cost mechanicals, planks, and twine, which is entirely different from gas. So knowing these 3 key traps, as well as launchers, forgot to mention that, planks, rough ore, and powder as well, we have a wide variety of trap resources. If you, for instance, compare that to dynamos, for instance, dynamos cost nuts and bolts and mechanicals, which means that you are not going to have enough nuts and bolts to craft your gas traps or your wall darts, which means that by crafting too many dynamos, you do not have enough resources. Same deal if you like go for flame grills, or if you go for zappers or ceiling electrics. Having resources or having traps that cost different resources is pretty much the biggest strength of this. Now again, here you go. I just say that throw gas everywhere, and you should be good. Because again, the strength of the base, which is that, you know, husks easily navigate through it, but that does not mean that they make it out alive. Now, starting from around wave 4, 5-ish, you're gonna have lobbers. Now, there are 2 ways to counter lobbers. You can either do what I'm doing right now with ramps, or you can just make a big rooftop over their spawn point. Now, both work. However, with the design of the map, there are cliffs everywhere, which means that if lobbers spawn on there, they will either, or just regular husks, they will either walk over onto the rooftop and just walk into your base above your traps, or lobbers are just going to walk onto your rooftop and just keep on chucking their skulls. And of course, since they're on top of the rooftop, you cannot see them. By having something like this, the husks actually literally have a shield which they cannot break through, so they're either going to be forced to waste their time fighting against it, or, you know, spend their time chucking skulls against it. Now again, with the brick staircases as well, you have additional fortification, meaning that, you know, husks are not going to be able to break through here. I don't know if you may have watched Litanah's video, but yeah. At one point he just looks up and is like in awe because of it. It's actually kind of funny. But it really saves the base numerous times, and is I think one of the biggest strengths of the entire defense. Now let's go into Frostnite and actually see some very notable and special places. Okay, Frostnite, let's go. It's very panicky, I know. You only have 3 minutes, you have so much to do, but with a good team, if everyone knows what you're doing, it should be a piece of cake. Of course, first of all, you know, metal is very important. Build everything out of metal. If you cannot build everything out of metal, build everything out of brick. If you cannot build anything out of brick or metal, just leave game, uninstall, just stop, give up. In this section of the video, you'll see very important places to visit, you'll see strategies, you'll see the build in action. Picking up those things, if you look at the left, we get ourselves a lot of stone, a lot of rough ore, a lot of metal, and a lot of nuts and bolts. Knowing from the traps from before, we know how important it is to get lots of nuts and bolts. Now this here is a first secret area containing lots and lots of goodies. Do not use those goodies, but recycle them. More on that a bit later. Now, what do you need for traps? Well, since we're talking about gas traps, we're gonna need nuts and bolts, we're gonna need powder, and we're gonna need herbs and bacon. 4 things, yeah. Now, if you look to the left, I'm gathering lots and lots of herbs. Herbs are not really an issue if you just keep on picking up plants, and visiting this area will definitely give you enough herbs to get yourself kick-started for the first few minutes in the first few waves. Now, a second thing, every single map needs to have a bacon farm. This area has lots and lots and lots of bacon, which, I mean, come on, it's bacon. Everyone loves bacon, right? Come on, you have to admit, bacon is amazing. So knowing this, we have already a handful of nuts and bolts, we have a lot of bacon, we have a lot of herbs, and we also have a little bit of powder. Quite surprisingly, planks, rough ore, and nuts and bolts are the most valuable items in this game mode. Now you'll see if you go towards the back, you're going to get yourself a chest. Of course, these chests are randomized. Let me repeat, these are randomized. You can get yourself a level 2 chest, but also level 5. I got lucky and got a 4 this time. But in the basement you can also get like a level 5 safe. So it always requires a little bit of luck. Now, Lone Krampus. Krampus is a very interesting guy. He's not per se the most difficult, but you gotta be careful. Cause he can hit hard, and if you bait him towards the base, he can actually break through your defenses, especially early game. However, if you kill him really quickly, you get yourself lots and lots of materials, as well as a handful of blue glow. Now, look at this. We've barely done anything. However, this wave is going to be a piece of cake. I'm going to start crafting these gas traps, and you can see I'm running low on powder, which is why good team composition is key. If you know what everyone is doing, you shouldn't really have too big of an issue. There we go. I start reinforcing the area that's going to be attacked. I do again with the walls, set up the corner pieces. And again, in like, if you watch the clip at the end, as well as Litanah's video, you can see the design a bit more in practice, right? But I wanted to show a separate video just so you get to see it with a little bit more explanation, right? Here you go. I do the same thing as I said in the video. I throw down a slow field, pretty much one of the best gadgets in the game, especially in Frostnite. And boom, look at that. Just 3 gas traps with a good design and a slow field, and we should be fine. About adding blue glow, never go above 80%. If it has more than 80% and you add blue glow into it, you're wasting percentages. Now, over the map, you're gonna find these boxes. These boxes contain coal. Coal is used for blast powder. Blast powder is used for specific weaponry, as well as a low chance, but still an existing chance to find power cells. Power cells are a must to get early game weaponry. Now, If you head towards the west, you're gonna get more farms. You know, you're gonna get bacon, herbs, and all that stuff. If you go more towards the east, you're gonna get yourself a city area. You're gonna have a lot of cars, a lot of everything. Very important to note are supply drops. Supply drops can give you a lot of resources. We'll look into that Krampus a bit later. Very important. Again, as I said, team composition. People say you have to run 4 reclaimers, or you have to run 4 machinists, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. No, it just comes down to how you set up, how you actually play, and how you work with your team. And as you can see, I recycle everything. It gives me 1 bacon, 6 herbs, 9, 4, 3 nuts and bolts, planks, and rough ore, respectively. A lot of resources, especially in this game mode. Now, look at me recycling these weapons. 9 mechanical parts. Look at me recycling all of these weapons. 11 mechanical parts. This gives me a lot of stuff to craft my weapons with. Of course, I need more Shadow Shard. Oh no, I think we've all been in this position. We got an active power cell, we got our materials, but we need more Shadow Shard and Obsidian. Well, where do you get those? Allow me to show you. Haha, what a surprise. Look at all these goodies that have been dropped from the defense. More stuff you can recycle and craft your weapons with. Now, of course, if you play with a full team, always pick up the packages, have 1 person set up the base, get a lobber screen, maybe have 2 striker ACs on your team. Now, the cave you just saw was an area where you can find lots of Shadow Shard, lots of Obsidian, lots of Quartz. The second area where you can find lots of those goodies is right here. Quite surprising that no one has actually really talked about this area, but look how many resources you have here. It's crazy. You have like a lot of ammo boxes. I think I've had like up to 3 ammo boxes in this single area, which I mean is a lot, right? Look at me, like 300 medium ammo, beautiful. Lots of goodies, lots of quartz, lots of ores, beautiful. Yeah, this is pretty much it for Frostnite. You have the base setup, which I talked about previously. You have resources, which, you know, as you can see, those are like the most important areas you should look at. And then, well, I don't know really. That's mainly it, right? Getting your weapons, getting your traps, getting the base setup, and then it's just a matter of rinse and repeat. If you can make the base bigger, make the base bigger. If you can reinforce the base, reinforce the base. It doesn't matter what characters you use, it doesn't matter what level you do, what power level you do, as long as you have a strong base. Speaking of which, low power level, allow me to say that a lot of people want to get either a low level player on their team, so it's a bit easier. Well, the mission is based on quest progression. So that means depending on how far you are in the quest log, it's going to be either easier or harder, so it seems. If you do a low level mission, everyone's going to be downgraded as well as the resources. I had a game in Plankerton where I was power level 42 and I was stuck using silver weaponry. Now that is very well balanced, as you know, doing this will be on my power level with Shadow Shard and Sunbeam weapons, so I mean, it's balanced. Now, people do say that the spawn rates are decreased. I haven't really noticed that. And even then, once you go like past an hour, you're gonna have so many takers, smashers, propane, everything. It's never really a big deal of, you know, if they have the higher level or if they're with more. It always comes down to how long you can let the base stand. As long as it isn't blown up, or as long as it doesn't get destroyed, you'll be fine. So a TLDR, remember very important areas where you can get lots of resources, recycle almost everything you have, use traps that cost different materials, use a solid, simple base design. Do not go way too complex, do not focus on trap tunnels all too much, because the more complex you make it, the higher the odds propane will explode. And lobbers. Prevent yourself from getting a lobber shower, because as soon as it happens, you're done for. You do not have enough time to fix it. Trust me, as soon as you see lobbers, you are game over. Now, I'll leave the video going until I die. We had quite an unfortunate end, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you have enough knowledge to get to 45 minutes to unlock Krampus. I will try to get to wave 30, which is over 2 hours, and if that happens, I will of course record it and put it on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you all next time.